So today, several cards have been banned in Commander. We have Mana Crypt, Lotus, Dockside Extortionist, and Nadu Wings Wisdom. Dockside has been talked about for a while now and is no real surprise that we are seeing Dockside finally getting the ban. There are many decks that are playing clones because Dockside is a thing. Every deck that has blue pretty much has 1 to 2, maybe more clones in it strictly to copy the Dockside. It does hurt certain decks by not being able to have their Dockside, but the other cards are a little concerning too. Before we talk about them, let's talk about Nadu. Nadu, since coming out, has been a little bit of a problem in the cEDH community. It has seen a huge uptick in play, but I do think the meta was adjusting to Nadu, and don't think that Nadu being banned was as needed as it once was when people first saw Nadu come out and everybody started playing. I think people have adjusted. Some people have moved on to their other decks again. It was the hot new card, and I think some of that was dying down. So I don't really think Nadu anymore was a problem. Mana Crypt and Lotus, however, that hurts. These cards were not banned because of casual players, as it is being spun. I also don't believe, according to Jim, that this was in the works for a long time. Because if it was, you did an extremely poor job communicating this to the community. When Dockside was being considered, Hull Breacher was being considered, you told the community that these were cards you were looking at. These are two high value money cards that cEDH players play typically. You are not seeing these in casual play, and I'm sorry if you are, it's probably someone spiking it out. To give no indication that these cards were on your radar is a huge disservice to our community, and as an organization, as the rules committee, you failed our community. This is going to hurt many decks, and commanders that cost 4 CMC or more now that were playable in cEDH, Corval, Tivit, Narset, Niv Mizzet, are now not playable. They're not going to be able to adjust to this. Yes, you can still slot in other cards, but they are not ever going to be able to catch up now. When you see decks like Kinnan running rampant, Yuriko, you're going to see decks like Rogsai just explode because they can live without these. And decks that were making the meta more diverse, commanders that cost more mana, that you needed this acceleration, are now essentially not playable. And that hurt the community. You also hurt people's wallets big time. If you had banned just Lotus or banned just Mana Crypt, that might have been okay. But to ban both of them without the community having any idea that this was going to happen, and you guys say you're for the community, this shows you're not. And then we want to talk about silver border cards. Sorry, but I don't know that people care enough about silver border cards for that to be your discussion, and you blindside the community with these cards. Games in casual meta going on 12 plus turns for Mana Crypt, sure, that does hurt. But I'm telling you, there are no casual players that were playing these cards religiously in their decks. You might have seen maybe a Lotus, but you weren't seeing these cards. And if you were, these were easily rule zeroed into or out of people's decks. So for this decision to come down, this is 100% aimed at the cEDH community and nothing else. Let's call it for what it was. This was a blindside to the cEDH community and was not properly thought out. You can read the description of why they say these cards were banned and their justification for banning them, but I'm sorry, their justification is not enough. If you were personally affected by this now and have decks that now are not playable because of this, we would be curious to hear in the comments how detrimental this really was to you and your decks, and what are your thoughts about this. If you're a casual player, you don't care. You're probably jumping for joy because you didn't care about these cards to begin with, but as a cEDH player, this is wrecking the format. The format will adjust. The format will move on. However, it will be a lot less diverse because of this. Let us know what your thoughts are about this recent Rules Committee banning after months and months and months of doing absolutely nothing to help the community. This is what they came up with. let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts.